public bathhouse mediates the park and the harbor as a form of social infrastructure. This space resists luxury to offer ordinary ritual to residents and the city at large. The closeted functions of bath and laundry are celebrated as communal practices that restitch necessary relationships between health, care, and domestic labor. Two characters, A and B, traverse the bathhouse through a sequence of materials that choreograph temperature change, immersion, and privacy.
Character A is an elderly woman carrying laundry to the public bathhouse buried in the Boston waterfront. She enters the park and is drawn toward the harbor, a view now framed by thin feet that lift a pier of housing above. She draws close, and the park folds downward along a ramp that steadies her view as she arrives at harbor level. Bathhouse doors open towards this view within a rocky garden.
A places laundry in a machine and changes her clothes, entering a circuit of ritual baths. First, she slips between radial walls into a delicately tiled bank of showers that forms a threshold between the dry and the wet.
She steps into a warm pool, a seamless bath that stretches wall to wall. A meanders through the water, guided by roughly tiled partitions that hover above the surface. A cold lap pool stretches out beyond, but she chooses to swim close to the warm garden's edge, continuing down a narrow, water-filled path.
A comes ashore at the midpoint of the bath cycle, arriving at a tiled landing where a curving wall again slips by itself. She steps out of the wet sequence in time to load her laundry into the dryer, and passes character B as they step back through the tile threshold, into the belly of a cedar sauna. They cup water onto the black stove rocks and recline onto the hot, dry wood as steam washes the room.
B exits the sauna and the building through a door with a tight seal, arriving at a ledge overlooking the ocean. Sweaty, they plunge into the cold outdoor pool and paddle parallel to boats in the harbor. They complete the bath circuit by climbing out and passing inside, entering the onsen room for a warm soak.
They leave the bath and enter the house. B dresses and gathers their wet laundry, carrying it up through a glassy stair that climbs above the garden in the park. While long floor slabs and gentle ramps circulate the life of the bathhouse and the apartments above, water and people rush vertically. Elevator shafts, stairwells, and plumbing chases stack these volumes together.
From the stair, they land within a porch-like entry and string up laundry to dry in the sun alongside their neighbors. The glassy stair is coated in a flurry of delicates. Light filters through the clothing and casts new colors across the walls and the floors, forming a column of flags in the park. Shoes, plants, and umbrellas cluster in this bright, pleasantly humid space.
Four apartment doors open off the landing. B enters a room where thick walls gather storage and surfaces at the perimeter. At each end, tall windows form relationships with the park and the harbor. Rising from the floor, structural stacks host the divided functions of a bathroom. One wall mounts a basin, 3 frame a shower head and drain, and 4 enclose a U-bend.
If B and their neighbors agree, the thick walls dividing apartments swing open, chaining units together to pool their minimum fixtures and dimensions into a maximal space for living. A table in the corner is exchanged for family dining. Beds join into a soft field. Plants take over one of the many showers.
This arrangement recalls a time before the bathroom was distilled into a tight space of required offsets and radii that package a huge proportion of floor area. When distributed, these fixtures hinge space without foreclosing room. Liberated from the marginal bathroom, these stacks drift across the floor and generate small pleasures in the life that circulates around them.
As residents link their rooms together into a palatial sequence, floor space opens up to the desires of more bodies. Swinging walls frame delightful corners, and furniture clusters to form new kinds of rooms.